Play and Trade Guitars is giving away this Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul to one of you. How to enter? Subscribe to Play and Trade Guitars on YouTube, and we'll give it away when we hit 50,000 subscribers.
Hey, welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, and that's Zach behind the camera. Of course, this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it. Looking today at a very, very cool Epiphone inspired by Gibson 335. And this is a recent addition to the line. The inspired by Gibson line could represent one of the best values in the entire guitar market today. So we're going to look at this beautiful blueberry burst Epiphone 335. We're going to put it on the bench and talk specs. We're going to plug it in and play it, and we're going to let you weigh in. Does it hold up? Is it worth buying? If you're ready to buy, please use our purchase link down in the description. It supports Play and Trade Guitars directly when you do that. And also remember to sign up for our Gleam giveaway. We're giving away a Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul when we hit 50,000 subscribers. Let's head over to the bench and talk full specs, and we'll also go through a little rundown of the history behind the iconic Gibson 335. So the Gibson 335 is one of the most iconic guitars in the world. It's considered also to be one of the most versatile guitars in the world because it combines elements of two guitar designs, the acoustic guitar and the electric guitar. It's actually younger than the Les Paul, which is a solid body guitar made by Gibson, of course designed by Ted McCarty with Les Paul's name on it. But prior to the Les Paul coming out, Gibson only made fully hollow body archtop guitars. After the Les Paul came out and the solid body guitar was all the rage, Ted McCarty had the idea of combining the acoustic and the electric guitar by putting a center block of maple. This was the first time that that was done on a 335. Gibson did that in 1958. And also it was one of the very first guitars to ever feature the humbucker, the famous patent applied for humbucker that was made so famous in 1957, 1958 on the Les Pauls, but also on the 335. The 335, actually, this one is made by Epiphone, of course. Epiphone didn't start doing a .335 until the 90s, but Epiphone had its own take on the 335 in the subsequent years, 1961, 1962, with those famous trio of guitars, the Sheridan, the Casino, and the Riviera. And those are super cool too. You can even check out a review on the Noel Gallagher Riviera, which just came out not too long ago. But today, I think this could possibly represent one of the best values in the guitar market because at a price point of $699 for this veneered AAA flame top, you are getting all the attributes of a 335 at a much lower price point. Stay tuned to the end of the video, we'll tell you what that ES335 stands for. But just to kind of give you a hint, if you're going for the Gibson route, you're going to be paying around $3,000 for a figured top 335 from Gibson. This really could be one of the best values. My job today is to give you all the information you need to know to see if you want to buy this guitar and see if it's worth it, and of course we'll see how it sounds. We have the Epiphone inspired by Gibson headstock with the open book design. That's a sharp update that they've done to the line. Flipping it over, you can check out some, these are Kluson style Epiphone Deluxe vintage style tuners. I love those tulip pedals. Those are actually some of my absolute favorites. These are currently made in China. The finish here is going to be a blueberry burst. You can really see it on the back, which is cool. Now to get that crazy AAA flame, you have a laminated maple body and then they're putting a flamed veneer. So the wood itself actually just has a thin veneer on it to give it that triple flame look. And then the finish here, rather than nitro like a Gibson, is going to be a poly finish, which is really actually a more durable finish. It's just kind of a different way to finish a modern guitar compared to the more old school way of the nitro finish on a Gibson. We've got a synthetic nut, 22 frets. This is an Indian laurel board with block inlays. At the $699 price point, you get the block inlays. Epiphone also makes a .335 for $100 less at $599, and that's going to have the dots instead of the blocks, and it's going to have more solid colors like a cherry, traditional cherry 335. Nice binding on the fretboard itself, bound body. And the way that they make these 335s is amazing. You can watch our Gibson factory tour, and this is compressed laminated pieces of maple, which are basically pressed almost like a skateboard and then shaped under high pressure and heat. And then you can't see it while we look, but the famous design that Ted McCarty came up with and put into this guitar design when Gibson first released it is the center block of maple. And if you think about it, Les Paul even had a guitar he called the Log, and that was a solid piece of wood that he took an old Epiphone guitar, cut the wings off, and stuck it on that log. So you can almost argue that the 335 is closer to a guitar designed by Les Paul than the Les Paul itself. but I always thought that was kind of interesting. Of course, it's going to be hollow here. So you have this chambered body on either side of the solid block of maple, which runs through the whole center. Alnico Classic Pro humbuckers designed by Epiphone. People have been really impressed with the upgrade, not only in the quality of Epiphone guitars, but also the sound of these Alnico Classic Pro pickups. We'll get a reading on those. Then you got classic controls, no push-pull or coil tap or anything like that. Just volume, volume, tone, tone, three-way switch, and output jack here on the face of the guitar. Flipping it over here, you can just see the contours of the body itself. So you have an arch top guitar, right? You basically have, with a semi guitar, you're gonna have an arch both on the back, pressed from that laminated maple, and then an arched, more shallow, but I mean still an arch top design on the top as well, which is part of that design. Let's go ahead and pull the strings off. We'll get those out of the way and take a look at the electronics before we plug it in. I have the strings out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and condition this Indian Laurel fretboard with just a little bit of Deodario Hydrate. It's gonna give a little bit more life to the wood, and then while that sets in, we'll get some neck measurements. The nut reading 1.68 inches, first fret at 0.85 inches, 12th fret at 0.97 inches. So a little thicker for sure. Body thickness on this Epiphone 335 comes in at 1.76 inches. We're at 16 inches wide on the bottom bout, about 11.5 inches wide on this upper bout. Flipping over these pickups, you're gonna get also a look at that maple center block that's underneath. So you can see these are marked Epiphone, designed by Epiphone USA, and then Alnico Classic Pro. Bridge humbucker reading 7.7, neck reading 7.4, combined reading 3.7. Another thing to point out while we have this all splayed out is how you wire up a 335. So if you've ever had to work in a semi-hollow or hollow body guitar, you know that there's a lot of fishing involved. So the tone and the volume we won't really be able to take a look at unless I was to loosen these, pull the caps, and fish them out through, actually not the F-hole, but all the way actually through here. So you kind of have to fish everything through here and then pull it up through these openings. 7 pounds, 10 ounces. So somewhere over 7.5 pounds. Not too heavy. Let's get a first impression of the feel of this C-shaped neck. Fret edges feel good. I have no complaints there. The binding is nice. The benefit, of course, of it being a semi-hollow is that it's semi-acoustic. So if you want a guitar that you can pick up and play unplugged and really hear, lots of volume coming out of the guitar. Feels really nice. Neck feels a little chunkier, so it's not what I would describe as a super slim neck. It's kind of like more of a 50s profile neck. And overall, I really like the sound. I like the feel. You got this, of course, with the double cutaway, you have more access to the upper frets, which is always nice. The only thing left to do now is to plug it in and play it. The guitar's feeling great. If you're in the market for this guitar, use our purchase link down in the description. Thanks to all of you who have. If you bought a guitar using our link, drop a comment because we'd love to give you a shout out. Now, let's plug this in. And we're gonna start with some direct in cleans, meaning you're gonna hear exactly what the guitar sounds like, just clean directly in to the recording rig. And then we'll fire it up behind a track, let it sing, and have some fun with it. I mean, we have like a 3-minute performance track and I was kind of getting lost in it. I was really enjoying playing this guitar. For $699 for the figure top or $599 for the non-figure top, I've got to tell you right now, I was getting lost in the music, I was getting lost in the playing. This guitar is an absolute knockout. The pickups sound fantastic. You've got a set of those Epiphone designed El Nico Pro Classic pickups, humbuckers, which I think sound fantastic. This neck shape, if you know me, I'm a sucker for kind of a thicker 50s profile neck. Great feeling neck. If you like a super slim neck, I'd say this is probably not for you. If you like more of a 50s kind of medium to generally a 50s profile neck, C shape feels absolutely fantastic. I love the sound of the guitar. Man, it makes me want to keep this one. And you know, rounding it out, I think the looks are fantastic to get that veneered flame top with this blueberry burst. The blueberry burst is cool. I also love just a classic cherry dot 335 that's at $599. This is giving you that classic sound of a Gibson 335 at $699. What else can you say? When you're ready to buy, use the link down in the description. It supports our channel directly. Remember, if you buy a guitar using our link, let us know because we'd love to give you a shout out on a future video. I'm John for Play and Trade Guitars. Thanks for watching. And also, you thought I'd forget, why is it called the ES335? ES, we've talked about before, stands for Electric Spanish, but believe it or not, $335, that was the price tag in 1958. And I actually did the math, $335 in 1958 today would be roughly about $3,200. So when people say on Facebook groups, oh, I only paid $300 back in the day, really they basically paid the same as someone spending $3 grand on it today. But that's inflation for you. I think we're all sick of hearing that term, but we're not sick of playing guitars. So when you're in the market, use our link and we'll see you on the next video. This was way too much fun. Thanks for watching.